Ooh, welcome to the stream. Today on Genshin Impact. Hopefully less loading screens. As we try to finish off the currently ongoing event. A Parade of Providence, which we are still in Act 2. Suspicions aroused. The second round has come to an end, but there are some matters that haven't been resolved. This cake remains unresolved. She'll never finish it.
I pray all the children will study.
I only take orders from my employer.
It feels like something's been on your mind this entire time.
I mean, there has been a subplot of white-haired man being seen and secret conversations being overheard. Something we have not really delved at yet.
Traveler, Paimon, I finally found you.
Finally? Did something happen?
Don't you feel like there's something off about this year's Academia Extravaganza?
Yes.
When Candace and I were at the cafe earlier, we might have caught sight of some mercs on business. Thing is, they were disguised as tourists here to shop. But no disguise can mask the stench of blood. Just from their suspicious looks, I bet they do dirty work like kidnapping or assassinations.
We eavesdropped on them for a while. Their target seems to be someone called Sachin.
Isn't it sad, Sachin?
Sachin? Isn't that the person who Karina mentioned during the opening ceremony? He's apparently the sponsor behind the competition prizes and the Diadem of Knowledge, but he hasn't shown himself at all.
Somehow I didn't make that joke last time.
Sounds like a rich person, all right. It makes sense now. The Eremites have been struggling to make ends meet recently, so a lot of groups have been doing private work that involves the rich. In their words, one gig sets you up for half a year. Just one job like this nets them enough mora to take it easy for a while.
The Extravaganza has brought many tourists to Sumeru City all at once, so it's likely that they took advantage of the bustle to sneak in. Dia and I wanted to directly capture them, but they were on guard and made some excuse to slip away.
I would have tied him up if it wouldn't have caused a scene. Who's legally supposed to take care of this kind of thing? The Matra or the Core of 30?
Me!
If Sino were here, he'd definitely get involved. Why don't we head over to the Academia and tell Amatra? Thanks a million, you two.
Not at all. It was coincidence on our part as well.
Yeah, don't sweat it. The Eremites' reputation is gonna get even worse if these scumbags succeed. But this is Sumeru City. Candace and I don't have as much freedom to act here, so we're leaving this in your hands.
Should you require our aid, come find us at the cafe.
You're gonna be drinking.
Paimon's noticed that something's bugging you. Is it the Extravaganza? 'Cause Paimon's starting to think that there's more than meets the eye here, too. But thinking like this isn't doing anything. Let's just go find Amatra.
Thanks, Paimon, for asking me if something's wrong, but then just moving on. But it doesn't really seem like Traveler is really into the idea of telling Paimon anyways. Now, will there be any minigames on the way? Probably not. Well, something just poofed. I guess we'll just ignore that. Don't climb the lamppost. Either you can tell me everything philosophical about a lamppost, or don't interact with it at all.
Hey, isn't that the Matra we investigated Siraj with? Arav, wasn't it? Let's go talk to him.
Hello, both. It's been a while. Do you have any issues to report?
Hello both is an interesting way to greet two people. Hey, so about those two.
Someone's planning to kidnap Sachin. Goodness. Though I suppose it's not all that surprising. The growing popularity of the Extravaganza has given him quite the reputation boost as its sponsor. He's seen as one of these super rich types.
Perfect to rob.
Well, since he's got a target on his back now, shouldn't you send some people to protect him?
To tell you the truth, we've thought about doing just that. However, Sachin apparently prefers to spend most of his time out doing field work, and hardly ever comes back to Sumeru City. No one has been able to contact him. Our only lead is something he once said. Each time the Inter-Darshan Championship is held, I will be watching from close by to choose a suitable person to inherit my estate. Assuming he remains committed to that promise, then he must be right here in the city somewhere. I suspect that the Eremites in question must have heard about that as well, and decided to come here and try their luck.
So they shouldn't know where Sachin is either, right?
I would assume not. Anyway, Mahamatra Saino is still on vacation, so I'll handle this.
He's definitely not vacating though.
Don't you worry. A couple of kidnappers aren't gonna get very far in Sumeru City these days. I have my ways of forcing them out into the open. All of that said, if you're interested in Sachin's story, why don't you try tracking him down as well? The sooner we ascertain his whereabouts, the quicker we can act to ensure his safety. I mean, you could task all the Matra and the whole Corps of 30 with someone's protection, but if the client doesn't show themselves, there's nothing we can do to help them.
Fair point. Guess we should start searching for him too, but where should we start?
Do the Matra have any information at all on Sachin?
None, I'm afraid. He's never committed any crimes or broken academic protocol, so we don't have a very detailed file on him. I've heard that Alhaitham has now stepped down from his post as acting Grand Sage and is back to being the scribe again. Maybe it's worth checking to see if he knows anything.
Good idea! Okay, we'll head back to the Extravaganza venue and see if we can find him.
Back we go. Going down this city is much easier than going up it. Who would have thought?
Hey, Nilu, have you seen Alhaitham anywhere?
And how did you get here before us?
Alhaitham? Why, what is it?
We're trying to track down someone and we need him to pull up some records for us.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I don't know where he went. He's always the first to leave after the competition ends, and he never tells anyone where he'll be going.
Huh. Yeah, actually that sounds about right for him.
Let me think. To be honest, he doesn't seem very interested in the Extravaganza, so he probably doesn't stick around longer than he has to. To him, being a commentator is just extra work he was roped into. Do you guys know of any places he'd go after work?
Maybe he went home?
Ooh, maybe. Paimon remembers that his house isn't that far from here, so we might as well check it out.
back up we go. Right? No, it's just over there. I mixed up his house with someone else's house. Right, this fancy thing. Right, this fancy thing? Not this fancy thing. This other fancy thing. Do these fancy things look the same? Pretty much. This one is less fancy because it doesn't have that upper floor to it.
Let's try knocking.
Knock knock.
No answer? Maybe no one's home.
Paimon, you can wait a little longer after the knocking. Knock knock.
Hello? Oh, Ethan? Are you in? We need your help with something.
Oh, it's you two?
You are not Alhaitham.
Oh, Kaveh, you're home.
Come on in, I'll get the door for you.
Kaveh, it's very dark inside your home. Where's the light switch? Did you build a dungeon in here?
We didn't hear a peep when we first knocked. We thought no one was home.
Well, I can't be too careful. If someone from the academia came here looking for Alhaitham, and I opened the door for them without thinking, before long the whole city would know that I'm living here.
You're pretty conscientious about this, huh? So, what happens if someone comes inside looking for him while you're at home?
It's fine, as long as I stay in my own room. Anyway, why would someone just barge in here looking for him? Most people have better things to do.
Fair enough. So do you know where he is at the moment?
What do you think? Who knows what he does in his free time? All that matters to me is that he's out of the house.
Did you have a quarrel or something?
I wouldn't call it that. He's just incapable of saying anything pleasant at all. I told him how the second round went. I won the lot draw, remember? Because of good karma, of course. My luck's on the rise.
Don't say that, or in the third round it will go down again.
But him, being him... Oh, you wouldn't believe what he said after I was done talking! You're always quick to remind me that you're my upperclassman, and yet you do not problem solve in the manner becoming of an upperclassman. This begs the question of why we attach prestige to seniority at all. What does he mean, manner becoming of an upperclassman? What, am I supposed to earn the title of upperclassman now? And he didn't stop there. He said, I'd encourage you to reflect on why you've ended up having to rely on luck every round. Frankly, it's incomprehensible to me how you've managed to make it to this age without acknowledging the proverbial elephant in the room of your life.
You sure are remembering his words very much in detail.
Yeah, that does sound like something Alhaitham would say.
I've had it with him. Every time I talk to him, it's the same way. He finds a way to infuriate me every single time. Anyway, the disdain is very much mutual between us, so I'll be moving out as soon as possible. I'm actually packing my things right now. He'll have to get used to doing his own cleaning and tidying from now on. See those perfectly hung paintings on the walls? They're coming with me too. If his life wasn't utterly devoid of artistic sensibility already, it certainly will be after today.
Wait, you're moving out already? But the competition isn't even over yet. How can you afford it?
Well, obviously I can't just yet. I'm just packing early to get ahead of the game.
Oh, you're being far too sure of your victory.
I've got my new place picked out already.
The moment I have my hands on the prize money, I'm going to buy it and move my things right in. It'll take me 3 days tops to move out of here for good. I now know what I have to do to achieve this goal. No matter what happens in the 3rd round, I will win. I will emerge triumphant. You'll see.
Good luck.
Well, we'll be rooting for you. But are you sure you'll be alright?
In what way?
Layla said that she thinks you'll get caught up in internal conflict.
Meaning what exactly? Oh, don't tell me you think I have serious personality flaws too.
Oh, we didn't say that. But think about it. You say you want to win, but you also turned Farozan down when she offered to give you her points. Plus, you took it upon yourself to help those desert foxes.
Wait, what's so unusual about all that? I gave you my reasons. I would have felt guilty otherwise. Where's the conflict in that?
Why would you feel guilty?
Well, when you put it like that, yes, why indeed? It's a good question. I guess it's just in my nature. Plus, if I just did nothing, then there'd be no escaping the blame if something bad came of it later down the line.
Hello, Aurora.
But thinking like that all the time must make your life so exhausting. Not to mention that by helping out, you put yourself at risk. Fainting in the middle of the desert, for example. Was that really worth it?
It's complicated. Look, let's maybe leave this conversation for another time. What was it you needed Alhaitham's help with, anyway?
We'd like him to help us look into Sachin.
Sachin? Huh. He did actually mention a Sachin recently.
Did he now?
I remember he brought a few documents home that day. He was thinking out loud as he looked through them, making some notes and doodling as he went. He even suggested that I should take a look, but I didn't. Give me a moment. Let me go find them.
I'm doing fine. How are you doing? Maybe we should leave.
Ah, this is the one. Here, take it.
You sure he'd be okay with this?
Probably not.
Huh, with taking liberties? He's certainly okay with helping himself to my beer whenever he pleases. And anyway, he did ask me if I wanted to read his notes. I didn't see the point at the time, so he just left them on the side. He doesn't leave documents lying around unless he's okay with other people reading them. It's fine, I promise.
Cool, if you say so. Okay, let's see what he's got on Sachin.
Investigate. What do we have here? Text. Tabletop documents. Sachin was born to a wealthy family, and his father, Rashput, was a renowned merchant in Sumeru, with many properties to his name. At the age of 9, Sachin enrolled into Vahumana and achieved excellent grades. At the age of 15, he completed all of his courses and graduated first in class, his accomplishments greatly lauded by the sages. At the age of 16, Sachin ventured out and began to research the local environment and customs. His travels took him throughout Sumeru's rainforests and deserts. When Sachin was 23 years old, his father, Rashput, passed away. Sachin returned to Sumeru City to take over his father's business and spent 2 years here. At the age of 25, Sachin once again ventured into the desert to conduct field research. Records show that he traveled with a caravan and lived in Aru village for a period of time. At the age of 32, Sachin returned to Sumeru City. He looked withered and weary, his mental state in shambles. Much speculation arose amongst outsiders, but Sachin locked himself in his room and did not respond. At the age of 33, Sachin entrusted all of his properties to the academia and pledged to donate all proceeds to the academia. He then wrote a contract regarding the use of the proceeds and property ownership. The following is an excerpt quoted from Sachin when the contract was signed. A minimum of 30% of all revenue generated from the business will be used to fund prizes for the Interdarshan Championship, which will encourage young prodigies to actively participate in the competition. I will also be donating my entire collection, the most prominent item of which, the Diadem of Knowledge, will serve as a symbol of great honor in the Interdarshan Championship. Only the winner of the competition may wear it. In addition, the Academia is only given the right to maintain and manage my properties. Ownership of them does not belong to the Academia, nor does it belong to me. Each year, when the Interdarshan Championship is held, I will keep a close eye on each candidate. If I particularly identify with a participant, I will reveal myself. I will then bequeath all of my wealth to this individual, whom I judge worthy of my acknowledgement. They will have the usage rights to all assets and proceeds under my name. I hope the Academia will respect any and all decisions made by that person. After the contract came into effect, Sachin returned to the desert to continue his investigations, but there has been no word from him since. Many claim to have seen him in the desert, but none of such claims have been verified. 20 years have passed since then, so he's like 50 something now. Thanks for subscribing. No, I do not have a Twitch.
That was a lot of information. Paimon's getting a headache.
And I will read.
So, to sum up, Sachin put the Academia in charge of managing his estate and went off to do research, right? He even said that if he really liked one of the contestants, he wouldn't just give them a reward, but his entire estate as well. Oh, that must be worth heaps and heaps of mora.
What? Are you serious? All of Sachin's wealth, that's more than I could spend in a lifetime, surely. Heck, if I got chosen, I'd be able to pay off all my debts, then buy a new place, and still have cash to burn. I could build another Palace of Alcazar's array, except this time, I'd make it 10 times bigger.
For yourself?
Oh, then there's that new project in Port Ormos, of course. The bridge renovation. To do it properly would take upwards of...
Hey, snap out of it! You're getting way ahead of yourself there, mister.
You're right. First I need to focus on winning and moving out of this place.
Huh? Wait a moment. There's a loose slip of paper tucked in between these pages.
More reading?
Did Alhaitham write this? It looks like he was jotting ideas down as he was thinking things over. Let's see. Two phrases have been circled. Sachin, dead or alive, unknown. And Diadem of Knowledge. Some of this stuff is just plain incomprehensible. Is this written in some other language?
Let me see. Huh. I recognize this script. Give me a second. Lofty ideals may provide no defense at all against nihilism, but perhaps little decisions can. That's a rough translation anyway. I can't guarantee it's 100% accurate. There's another smaller line of text underneath. Why would he bring that up?
Wow! It's so cool that you can actually read this script!
We worked together on a project once when we were students. The title was Decoding the Runes and Architectural Philosophy of the Ruins of King Deshret's Civilization. I had to familiarize myself a little with this script at the time.
Oh, interesting. So, any idea what Alhaitham meant by all this?
Who knows? The way his mind works is one of the great mysteries of the world.
Fair enough. Well, guess we've learned all we can here.
Let's hope Araf made some progress.
Yeah, he better catch those crooks. But until then, let's just head out for a stroll.
End of Act 2. And we have some time to kill.
Little decisions. What could have been going through his mind when he wrote that?
Who really knows? Like last time, I'm failing to find the exit. Twice. Where? Cave. Too many doors that look the same. Is that why you want to move out? Don't lie to me. Anyways, let's have a minigame break while we wait for Act 3. After these loading screens. What do we have? Where are you? On my level. That's good. It means I don't have to walk up the city walls again. In fact, you are not in the city at all. Is there multiple people in this place? Yes, there might be 2 minigames again. Possibly. Daya. Hello there, I'm Daya from Extravaganza. Are you here to take part in the Wisdom Gala too? This is the new game that our Darshan has put forth. Project Connectivity. Would you like to have a go at it? If I recall... We study mechanics and architecture, yes. Seems like I've gone off topic, so to take part in the gala, many of our students put their heads together. And the result was Project Connectivity. They could not take their heads apart anymore. They are connected now. Basically, players will need to use the various objects that we have prepared to, well, create a pathway. Laying down bridges, setting up stairs. The eventual goal is to create a path for people to travel on that can reach its destination. Once you have finished constructing that road, we will conduct a final verification, just like how we would test completed buildings. Essentially, you just need to set up a safe road to attain success. I haven't much of a knack for architecture, but I'm remembering an older event. Don't worry, don't worry. You're not being asked to construct anything in real life. If something goes wrong and the road collapses, we'll just have to rebuild it. We're not putting limits on the number of tries you have either. Just let your imagination run free and build a beautiful as beautiful a road as possible. Spend construction points in construction mode during project connectivity to construct a road and use the test mode to check if the road you have created will take you from the designated start through all checkpoints. Checkpoints can be accessed in any order. This is different from the previous event I was thinking of. Also, this does sound more involved than the things we did last time. That's 3 stages. Unable to use character skills or switch characters. Which are using more of the same material where to increase construction points. Let's see if we can connect the dots, as you say. So... where do I see how many points I have? Does it matter? Oh, they are below there. Just need to go like this, right? Probably this would have been shorter by like a step. I'm wondering if I can make those jumps also. I guess I'll find out sooner rather than later. Oh, that's a bigger one. Didn't expect you to be that big. I didn't jump.
Yeah.
But I did the spacing decently well. I guess. Maybe not here. Unless I can climb this. Okay. I'm surprised how well this worked. I was almost certain I didn't space things correctly, but I did it exactly as intended. Everyone can make a bridge that stands, but it takes a genius to make a bridge that barely stands. Yes, this one barely stood. In this challenge, the checkpoints are positioned in a ring-like shape that gradually rises. Choose suitable construction materials to pave an effective path. So, over there first, I guess. Let's start the same way we did. I guess I can land on that, huh? It's good to know that I can climb these things. Oh, you're right. Oh, we can only have one of those, huh? I guess it would be a bit of cheating. Could do that too much. How many points have I used so far? Can I see at all how many points I've used? Okay, this is the ones I have used. I think. I guess the 3 stars mean I'm still in 3-star territory.
Paimon just heard that the Matra have arrested some Eremites who snuck into the city. Maybe they were the ones plotting to kidnap Sachin. Let's go to the Academia and check with Araf.
Didn't put this one high enough. Does it matter? No. Also, I'm surprised Paimon can tell me that the story can continue, even in here. Oh, I didn't put this thing nearly as close to where I wanted it to be, but it still works. I wonder if this is anywhere close to the actual design tool they use for this game. In this challenge, the checkpoints are positioned at varying heights. As such, making a workable path will not be an easy task. I mean, the best path is up and then just float down from the top. Possibly. Like, I'm making this one my last. That sounds like a plan to me. That should work. Maybe. Not entirely sure if it will. Then I can just float down here. That should work, maybe. This might be too high. Possibly, barely. That was close. Not the most difficult challenge in the game. I guess you can challenge yourself and do it with as little tools as possible. Wow, do it with less than 800. It seems very easy. Dane, antiquity hunt. You are right beside me. Why does everyone seem so exhausted? Are you running some sort of event here? You're the traveler, aren't you? Haha, I've always wanted to meet you. That's right, Vahumana is running an archaeology-themed game this time. We have many researchers who study history under our banner, and so archaeological work, especially this sort that is done in person, is often unavoidable. Wait, don't be nervous. We're not getting everyone to do that in person. This event is just a replica of archaeological activities. We have placed a lot of replica relics and buried them all around Sumeru City, and we term those places, at least for now, our archaeological zones. Maybe the developers thought you'll make an actual bridge and not some random patches. No, never. If they wanted actual bridges, they wouldn't have given me mushrooms and those weird teleport points. Or zoom points. Those who take part in this activity just need to bring our specialty-made detectors to those sites and dig up buried replicas. It's all thanks to the students of the other Darshans for constructing a batch of containers and corresponding detectors. Just need to follow the detector in order to find the replicas. even split the type of replicas into zones according to the elements. However, these detectors were originally used in elemental surveys, and despite our last-minute modifications, they might still be affected by certain elements. All in all, you just need to dig up all the replicas, and you'll find that we've got awesome rewards for you. Do you think? Doesn't sound too hard. Aha, great! In that case, here's the detector. I'll mark the archaeological zones on your archaeological manual. Alright, that should do it. Well done, traveler. Go out there and have yourself some archaeological fun. Oh boy, fun. Once you are in a zone, equip and use the search compass. That sounds awfully familiar to something we did not long ago. Also, this one sounds also more involved than other things. There's too many of these. I might not be doing all of them on stream. Go to Devantaka Mountain to look for the archaeological zone. Oh, here we have the map. Let's see. Also, gotta equip the thing. Search compass. Let's see how findy works in this game. Hopefully it is more quiet. %. %. Nice %. Okay, possibly over here then. Sure looking like it. Both of these are 88%. So it had to be right in the middle of them. Oh yeah, Baizu is around now. Just FYI. He's not completely maxed out in his talents or artifacts, but he's definitely fine now. $79. 79? 83. You are in the way, aren't you? And you can't be destroyed with that. Interferences, clearances. I walked out of the thing. And I'm walking further away. Huh. Sometimes perfection. In the desert. Dar al-Shifa.
Explosion inside?
Is that this oasis? Yes, it is. Oh, we're gonna see very soon how much better the desert will run today compared to last time. Huh. After these loading screens. Where is my search zone? Wasn't it right here? Was indeed. Sure want me to have fire on the team. To not have interference. Easy mode. %, 7%. Okay, it's over there with the mushrooms. Because they probably are interference.
Jumpy dumpy go! First, wow! Yeah. Fuck. Ah!
Is there more of them? %6%. Did it say interference cleared? I didn't see. 1%. 16%. 14%.
Everyone's okay?
Sorry guys.
Fine, fine, fine.
Here is some archaeology to be done, and you are in the way. Close enough. Oh, at the pyramid. Which pyramid? We'll soon know. This one. The one with a boss inside. Hopefully the boss is not an interference. Mushrooms though. Definitely interfering.
Come into being! Witness my great undertaking!
La la la.
Go. Opening box of Adepti-Trix.
That's close enough!
Hey. Pew.
Law of the jungle!
Too bad. My law of the jungle involves explosions.
I'll be back.
Woo. Da da da. Woo. Da da da. La la la. Da da da.
Okay. What? Huh? Oh. There actually is more quest to this, huh? You want me to look for some actual treasure because I'm so good at your antiquities. Possibly. But before we do that, where do you want me to go for the main quest in case we are close to that? No, that's also in Sumeru City. Project connectivity. Somewhere over here. Up here. Oh, have you found all the replicas? Yes, yes, and yes. Marvelous! You really do have a knack for this, don't you? Well then, this gift is for you. Thanks for taking part in the event organized by our Darshan. Hope that you've been able to enjoy your taste of archaeology, traveler. That said, real-life archaeology tends to be rather dry and labor-intensive work. At the instant you find that key relic, you will feel as if the struggle was all worth it. And if you fail to dig anything up? Well, if you don't find anything, then this is, as they say, a waste of effort. And to be honest, this is actually what happens more often than not. The instances where we do find something important are quite rare indeed. But to work in archaeology is to be used to such circumstances and stay optimistic even so. It would only be a matter of time before we collapsed otherwise. Oh, the last thing was just this quest. There is no more to it. Fine. Back to main story then.
La la la, woo! La la la.
Ah, you're here. Sorry, I was just about to send someone to inform you. I only just finished interrogating the suspects.
What did you find out?
Well, lots of unexpected details, let's put it that way. The mercs themselves were surprisingly easy to catch. We just had someone dress up as Sachin and they took the bait. But then it starts to get messy. During the interrogation, we learned that they were hired by Sachin's own child.
Oh no, looking for father.
What? Why would someone want to kidnap their own father? What's up with that?
He went to go buy milk and never came back.
It's anybody's guess at this point. In any event, apparently the guys we caught are just the tip of the iceberg. Most of them are still snooping around outside the city. We're diverting manpower as we speak to try and round them all up. Would you like to come along?
But the third part of the championship.
Sure! Let's go get to the bottom of all this!
Can we make looking for him the third part of the championship? Gatherings and partings. Go to the kidnappers' camp. Which is too far away. Also, let's quickly switch back to the team I wanted to use. Not like we are doing much fighting today. I have a feeling. Like, I think if I didn't go out of my way, we would have had not a single fight last time. Then again, we are dealing with bandits now, so Let's beat some people up.
Arav, are you sure this is the right place? Something feels off.
I'm
Then again.
positive. But I don't understand why they're all unconscious on the ground.
Someone did my job for me, so no fighting.
Boss, we got more company.
Look, we were just doing what we were paid to do. You're punishing the wrong people here. You want the real culprit? It's this guy. He hired us to kidnap Sachin.
Grunty man.
What happened? Who beat you all up?
Wait, you mean you aren't with them?
With who? Who did this?
First there was this flying brat. Didn't bother asking any questions, just started throwing punches. After that, some guy wearing green came along and interrogated us for a bit.
Oh, they did make it the third part of the championship.
I've got the confirmation I needed. This is the one who masterminded this whole plot. Giovanni, Sachin's son. If you have any questions for him, now's your chance to ask them. When you're done, I'm arresting them all and taking them back to the Academia for further interrogation.
So why did you hire people to kidnap Sachin?
What do you think? 20 years ago, he upped and left to go and live a carefree life, not giving a second thought for my welfare. As if that's not bad enough already, he went and put his entire fortune in the care of the Academia, along with a contract saying that one day he'd pass it all on to a genius he admired. That's my inheritance, by rights. You expect me to sit back and watch it go to someone else? If he won't give me what's mine, I'll just have to take it from him.
I think you just have to be a better son to get an inheritance. Like, something obviously went wrong. Were you seriously playing the...
Of course! Didn't he say he would be here somewhere, watching the championship from the shadows? So, I figured I'd get some people to nab him. Then I make him change the contract. And if the Academia doesn't agree to hand over the goods, I make him publicly announce that I'm his chosen genius.
So, did you find him?
No. The old fart knows how to stay hidden. I'll give him that. He's probably cooped up somewhere watching all this go on and laughing to himself. I already thought he'd gone mad 20 years ago. And who knows what a madman's truly capable of.
What do you know about the Diadem of Knowledge?
Diadem of Knowledge? You mean that thing he donated to the Academia? Well, I can tell you that it's very expensive. He sold a lot of assets to purchase it back in the day. Weird things started happening after he brought it home, too. For example, sometimes we'd hear a high-pitched voice coming from the storage room.
Ah, good, it's cursed.
Also, before donating it to the Academia, he once shut himself in that same storeroom and researched it non-stop for days. Something was already seriously wrong with him by that point. Nothing he did shocked me.
What do you mean, something wrong with him?
I only have a vague memory of it, since I was very young at the time. But I have the impression that he went out into the desert for research and didn't return for many years. When he finally did return, he was a changed person. He would mumble incomprehensibly and write essays day and night. I asked if I could see what he'd written, but he chased me out of the room. Later, he went out somewhere and took his written essays with him. When he got back, he signed his contract with the Academia. Part of me wonders whether he'd already stopped being my father by that point. Perhaps the man we called Sachin was a demon from the desert who was wearing his skin.
Okay, you can stop now. You're creeping Paimon out.
You can believe me or not. Doesn't matter to me. I told you all I know. But if you do see Sachin, tell him this for me. Whatever it is that he's researching out there, he'll always be garbage in my eyes.
Hey, we love garbage around here.
You finished? In that case, come with us. Well, we finally caught the guy behind all this. Thanks for providing us with the critical information. Do you still have any lingering concerns?
The Diadem of Knowledge.
Yeah! Al-Haytham's notes do mention that item.
Scribe Al-Haytham looked into this matter. Understood. Well, if you believe there to be an issue with the diadem, I'd suggest contacting the organizers and getting them to pause the competitions while we investigate.
That makes sense. Okay then, let's get back to the venue. We need to tell Karina what's going on.
This is careening out of hand.
Karina!
You're finally back. Where have you been? I looked everywhere for you. The third round's already started.
Oh, good.
We were out capturing some bad guys who wanted to kidnap Sachin. But that's not important right now. We think there might be something wrong with the Diadem of Knowledge, and we'd like to investigate it.
The diadem? That seems unlikely. The Diadem of Knowledge has been used in every extravaganza over the last 2 decades, always without incident. Why has this come up now?
Some new information has come to light.
This is pretty serious. Let me think. Okay, here's the situation. The diadem is currently in Mount Ima Forest. We moved it there before the third round began.
Because looking for it is the third round.
In the third round, contestants have to go into Mount Ima Forest, find the diadem, bring it back, and place it on the stand. The first person to do this gets 4 points. Considering how close the scores are between our contestants, whoever wins this round is very likely to be the winner of the whole competition.
So you're saying all the other rounds did not matter.
As such, I suspect competition to be very fierce. You might not make it in time.
We have to give it a shot.
I'll mark the diadem's location for you. Please head there immediately. Let's hope nothing happens.
Alright, let's go! That's weird. The locator stopped working. Is the forest interfering with it? Ugh. Let's just go grab the diadem.
1 second. That seems like a thing that I have not done. Which is weird because it's right here in Sumeru City. Weird indeed.
I think we can forego the lost and found report.
Wrong forest. It's mushroom forest time. This quest sure makes us run all over Sumeru.
Uh-oh. This place looks empty. Did someone already take it? Well, we might as well head back and see if anyone's turned it in.
That sure was a worthwhile experience. Oh, Not back to... I thought you meant back to Sumeru City, to just where we teleported from.
Oh, looks like Layla has seized the diadem. But getting to the goal won't be easy.
That guy enters the fray.
Huh? That guy actually fighting for victory? That seems unlikely. Surely he just wants to protect everyone from that thing.
Arizon's device has gone haywire.
The competition is heating up. Oh. And here's Kaveh bringing up the rear.
Nice trick. That speeds you up for sure. Just if it's going in the right direction is the other question. And how do you start?
It's Kaveh's toolbox! Throwing the diadem to its owner.
Does not look cursed at all.
Yes, that's right. Put the diadem in place, and you shall gain all you desire.
Who are you? I need you to get out of my head!
I am confident that you will not disappoint me.
What just happened to me?
Something's wrong.
Congratulations, Kaveh. You summoned an old man.
At long last, someone to inherit my estate, and with it, my research. Come, Kaveh. Come to me, my child.
Sorry, I'm not your real son.
How do you know my name? Who are you?
I am Sachin. Well, to be precise, I am but a fragment of Sachin's mind. Fate is a curious thing. Seeing you reminds me of another I once met. But you are made of sterner stuff than he, more cognizant of the trials and tribulations of this world. It is you who are worthy to inherit all that I once owned. We meet for the first time, children. But what I mean to say now is of utmost importance. So please, pay attention and bear witness.
Can only Kaveh see you or everyone?
You have all performed outstandingly in this Interdarshan Championship. The Academia has many rare talents among its ranks, and you are the creme of the creme. But if I were to choose a successor, I would choose you, Kaveh. Not only because you were victorious, but also due to our similarities in character.
You will also be an old man one day.
Me? Similar to you?
Why, yes. Both of us have the misfortune to be idealists. And that is the source of our misery. 28 years ago, I came to the desert and lived there for 8 full years. What do you think I saw there? Alas, endless strife and slaughter. Conflict over water sources. Robbing of merchant caravans. Exploitation of the people relentlessly, day after day. Beyond the wall of Samiel lay a completely different world from the one I knew. The things I witnessed there tormented me greatly. I wished desperately to find a way to save them.
So, did you find a way?
As a Vahumana scholar, I tried to use Vahumana knowledge to find the answer. I researched history and anthropology, performed countless experiments on human nature, and even sought out the scholars living deep in the desert who called themselves the Lost Darshan. But in the end, I found that the answer I sought simply did not exist. It was not possible to simply assign blame for these transgressions to any one party, for the sins are carved into humanity's very nature. Our nature begets conflict, and conflict begets destruction. This is the inexorable truth. The aim of my research was to draw lessons from history. But what I discovered was that history offers no such guidance. Things can only ever go from bad to worse. After this realization, I could no longer see the meaning in anything that I had ever learned. Consumed by an overwhelming sense of emptiness, I could no longer bear to face life. And so, I decided to bring my life to an end.
And became a diadem instead.
But before I went through with it, a strange twist of fate led me to come into the possession of this diadem, which has the ability to preserve part of one's consciousness. Into it, I placed my experiences before requesting that the academia manage my estate.
As I thought, the contract you signed with the academia was in essence your will. But if you'd given up hope on this world, why did you feel the need to do this?
I mentioned that I had performed a great many experiments concerning human nature. You may regard this as the very last experiment of them all. The academia has no shortage of genius talents, nurturing the brightest minds of every generation. And so, with a handsome reward to draw out the worthiest of individuals, my hope was that one day I would find one who could untangle the mystery of human nature once and for all, and help to move the world onto a better path.
And some rewards would likely draw out the greediest of individuals. But you do you.
I see. So you desired a successor who was not only a genius, but who also understood the suffering of ordinary people. Such a person would have a clearer understanding of humanity, society, and the world.
Huh?
But did you ever consider that wealth numbs the human heart to the pain in the world? Even an idealist may be incapable of following through on your wishes after inheriting your wealth.
You are highly intelligent, yet you are not the sort of person who would understand my line of thinking. To me, this is also part of the experiment. Part of my investigation into human nature. Whether my successor suffers as a consequence of my research, or succumbs to an indulgence in pleasure-seeking, my research will have progressed. I grieve the fundamental sickness of the world. I regret the unbearable weight of its history. And I lament the research that I failed to complete. And this, Kaveh, my dear child, is why you will be of great utility to me.
Sorry, I just want to move out and buy my own house.
You're absolutely certain that you want to give me everything you owned? For me to do with as I please?
I have faith in what I see in you. Now wear the diadem, Kaveh, and complete the journey that I could not. Will the verdict I reached cause you suffering? Or will this newfound wealth numb your heart? I look forward to your answer. All of my research materials are being stored at our...
Huh?
I've heard enough! My life's enough of a mess already. The last thing I need is more suffering. Keep your Mora. I don't need it. Didn't you say that you saw a lot of people in pain? Well, if that's the case, then your wealth can go to them.
Okay. Perfect. You did with the wealth what you wanted to. Just as he wanted.
I guess that'll be the end of that.
But first you need to pay for this artifact you just destroyed.
Kaveh.
Are you alright? Any physical discomfort?
I'm fine. Thanks, Tainari. Don't worry about me.
Don't push yourself too hard.
Kaveh.
Kaveh may have broken the diadem, but he successfully completed the task prior to that. According to the rules, this makes him the victor of round 3. Points-wise, this also makes him the winner of the Inter-Darshan Championship. As the champion and Sachin's personally designated successor, Kaveh has obtained the rights to inherit the entirety of his estate. For the avoidance of doubt, can you confirm that it is your intention to donate all of Sachin's wealth?
Like I said, he thought that the world is a bad place. Well then, let's use what he left behind to change it for the better. Rejecting the world will achieve nothing. He and I, we're not the same.
All right. As the scribe, I will make a record of this incident on file. The sages will contact you in person for details on how exactly Sachin's estate is to be used.
That sounds fine. I don't know if his research findings were right, nor would I know how to finish his research for him. But what I do know is that by ending this here, no contestants will have to suffer. We won't be the last. There will be more championships to come, and countless future scholars will follow in our footsteps. Sachin's words can only cause pain, but not anymore. No one else has to hear them now. We're all scholars here. I know full well that shutting down his views like this is autocratic and arrogant. Fine by me. I'll bear that responsibility. It's the least I can do. And, well, it's the only thing I can do.
Well said. What you've expressed is a sense of justice and idealism that many aspire to, but few dare follow through with. I say this despite the fact that, in my view, it's quite ridiculous. You have long been aware of what your flaws are, but your pride alone prevents you from admitting it. Nevertheless, your perspective is well suited to appearing in a victory speech. Contestant Kaveh, on behalf of the organizing committee, it is my honor to congratulate you on your victory.
What? Please. I don't need your insincere praise. Anyway, this isn't the time or place for debates. Keep your commentary focused on the competition, not my views.
Congratulations, Kaveh. Also, you'll need to prepare for the award ceremony.
Looks like the ceremony will be held at the main venue. Let's head over and check it out.
All's well that ends well, as they say. Although, I think there's still some open questions left.
your excellent performance. And that brings this year's Interdarshan Championship to a close. Finally, it gives me great pleasure to invite our champion, Kaveh, to the stage to receive his award. Typically at this point, we would crown our champion with the diadem as well as presenting them with their award.
But he broke it.
However, we have just received word that Kaveh has inherited Sachin's estate and made the decision to donate it all to charitable causes.
Sachin's estate is getting donated?
So much, Mora. And he gave it all up?
Kaveh's generosity will give many struggling families the chance to change their lives for the better. Of course, without the diadem and prize money to present, this makes the award ceremony a little more concise than expected. Would you like to say a few words, Kaveh? I'm sure many of our audience, like myself, are curious to learn why you decided to give all this wealth away.
I'm not entirely sure what I should say under these circumstances. I'm glad to have won, even though I'd say luck played a big part in that. As for why I want to give the Mora away, I don't support Sachin's views, and I don't want to take his Mora. With a lot of things in life, people need to experience them for themselves. It shouldn't be up to one person to make a judgment on. Not him, and not me either. Anyway, this isn't really the time and place for such weighty and complicated topics. So, I guess that's all. I'll leave it there. Thanks very much.
Oh, Kaveh, just one moment. While this is a short and sweet award ceremony, we do still have a prize to present you with. Please take this limited edition Genius Invocation TCG card.
Someone immediately perks up.
Additionally, your champion status will be logged in your record. This means that the Sages will give priority consideration to any future project proposals you submit.
Are you gonna donate that card to someone special?
All right, I'll take the card. But as for project proposals, forget it.
In that case, I declare the award ceremony over. Let's give our champion Kaveh one last big round of applause.
Wow, what a big round.
I still don't really get it. The sum of Mora would have been enough for me to live in luxury for my entire life.
That just means you're not strange enough to understand the way that geniuses think. Come on, we've still got the whole Wisdom Gala to explore.
Glad that's over. I think I'm quite good at giving speeches, but this one was just so tiring.
Do you mean that you're still exhausted from the competition? Honestly, you don't look happy at all, but whatever else happened, you're the champion, you know? Don't you think you should be proud of that?
I suppose. Oh, wait. Sino said he wanted the card, didn't he? And now I have it, right here.
So you're gonna give it to him? But if it's a rare one, you should be able to make a tidy sum of more off it.
Why would I do that? It's of no use to me whatsoever. I may as well just give it to him. Could you pass it on to him for me when you next see him?
Did he run away? Doesn't he just stand there?
Whoa, whoa! This is a super big deal! You should do it yourself! Come on, let's go find Sino.
Huh? But I was gonna rest for a while longer. Hey, stop pulling my hair!
Boy, I wonder where Sino...
What you looking at, Sino?
I'm still thinking about the Sachin issue. What brings you here?
Well, they gave me this limited edition Genius Invocation card, and I figured you'd have more use for it than I.
But it's a limited edition. Are you sure you want to give it to me?
What else would I do with it? I have no use for it.
Sino, about to cry.
But it's limited edition. Kaveh, are you in trouble? You don't have to do all this. Just tell me what's wrong and I will help.
Oh, that's not what I meant at all. Yes, I have all sorts of problems, but that has absolutely nothing to do with this card. I'll figure my own issues out by myself.
All right. In that case, I accept your generosity. But now that I realize that you have no concept of its value, I cannot simply take it from you.
Let's fight over it in a card game.
How about this? I shall buy it from you at a fair price. Namely, the price that the previous limited edition card sold for.
Oh, come on. It's just one card. How much could it really be worth?
1 million more at the very least.
Oh, good.
How much?
1 million more?
If you feel that's too low, I can go a little higher.
1 million mora for a card? But you already have a whole bunch of these, shiny ones, don't you? I saw your deck last time we played.
Not every card is this valuable, and some cards are exquisitely designed, but not rare.
Huh. Well, I guess they must pay you plenty to be General Mahamatra if you're splashing out on things like this. But really, it's fine. I'd feel bad taking mora from a friend.
Don't feel bad. I save a lot. I can spare the mora for this card.
Yeah, I could also probably buy a few of them.
You don't spend all your savings on your hobbies, do you? You should watch that, you know. You definitely don't want to end up borrowing money in a moment of impulsivity. Living with debt is miserable.
Sounds like you're speaking from personal experience. I guess you've been through a lot?
I don't want to talk about it.
In that case, maybe you're the one who should be listening to your advice. In any case, I, Sino, will take this precious card, and it shall join the deck of destiny. Kaveh, come with me in a few moments to collect the mora. Thanks to you, I have achieved my goal for participating in this tournament.
Oi, Sino, you're so cool, and at the same time so lame.
All right, if you insist. Far be it from me to refuse your courtesy any further. Well, at least I'll be able to keep on top of my bills this month. Maybe I'll even have some left over. In fact, let me treat you all to a meal later. Bring Tainari and Kale, too.
Well, this is what they call all's well that ends well. Paimon wonders how the other contestants are doing. Let's go check in with them, shall we? Since we're guest commentators and all.
Let's go find them all. Oh yeah. Not these flowers, but the one I picked up just now. You may have noticed green numbers popping up above my head. That's actually one of Baizu's abilities that I forgot to mention in his gacha video. When you pick up flowers, some flowers, the more common ones,
You can't go
you
wrong
actually
taking
get healed.
advice from me on what to wear. Back in the day, my fashion style was considered cutting edge by everyone in the academia.
Really? Well then, sure, Madame Farzan. Maybe you could pick out a few fashionable outfits for us.
Farzan! Nilu! Even Dia and Candace are here! What are you all up to?
Candace and I bumped into these two while we were strolling through the streets. Madame Farzan here is pretty friendly. When she heard that we were buying clothes, she decided to give us some help.
I don't really see anything I'm familiar with. Never mind. We can purchase some textiles and make the clothes ourselves. Let's go with the plain fabric as our base. And embroider red and pink flowers on. Oh, and some green leaves.
Oh, wait a sec. You sure that's the latest style? That sounds a lot like what the older folks back home would wear.
Don't worry. This style is a timeless classic.
No thanks. This is actually sounding pretty weird.
Wait. Madame Farzan's right. That style is a classic, and used to be mainstream fashion. But these days, there are some other options too. If you don't mind, how about I pick some clothes out for everyone? It's not often that we get to meet up, especially since Candace rarely makes it to Sumeru City. Also, I know a few places where I can get a great bargain.
Sure. I'm happy to leave it to you.
I'll come with you to have a look. One always has to keep on top of what the youth of today are into.
Madame Farazan? Come quick! She's over here!
Who are you?
We're new in the academia. We saw all the amazing things you did during the competition. Do you have any classes we could sign up for?
Of course I do. And you're both very welcome to join.
That's great! We can't wait. What's your area of research? Precision mechanics?
I'm from Haravatat.
Huh? But you seem like an expert in machines. Wait, sorry. I remember now. You were representing the Haravatat Darshan in the championship. Oh, their classes are so boring, though. I'm sorry, ma'am. Let me know if you run any other classes in the future. I'll be there.
Well,
I knew it.
rude.
What about you? Aren't you going to leave with your friend?
I think you're amazing, Madame Farazan, and I'd like to learn from you for a while, if possible. I can take the class you're teaching as an option, even though cross-Darshan lessons might be a little tough to arrange. But I look forward to learning from you.
I see. You're a good egg, child. Don't worry. Study under me, and I promise you, you will get the best teaching available.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, I won't disturb you any further. See you in class.
I don't quite understand what happened there, but congratulations, I think.
Traveler, Paimon, would you two like to come and pick out some clothes?
Sorry, I'm gonna wear the same thing forever. And so will you.
Sorry, we can't. We've got a meal with Kaveh later, and we have to check in with all the other contestants before then. Oh, by the way, have any of you seen Hat Guy or Layla?
I don't know where Hat Guy went. We just saw Layla not too long ago, though. But she was hanging out with some other Ratahoa students, so we didn't get a chance to speak with her. Are you gonna go and see what she's up to?
Ratahoa students? They must be the ones who voted for her to enter the competition, right? Oh, she didn't end up winning, so Paimon wonders how they feel about that. Let's go take a peek.
If you don't come to Sumeru City often, classic floral designs aren't a bad choice. Those don't really go out of style. And of course, since you're putting this on your body, you need to consider the type of fabric the clothes are made from. Some materials might look stunning, but they can be terribly uncomfortable to wear.
Agreed. After all, is fashion not the constant phasing in and out of classics? In that sense, you could always consider the style I suggested too.
Wait, sorry, ma'am, but I think it could be quite a while before the style you recommended comes back into fashion.
I actually think the style recommended by Madame Farazan is quite beautiful.
Isn't it just? You have a discerning eye, my dear.
Fashion talk. Let's get out of here. Let's get back where we came. Oh no, doors. The doctor sounds quite sick today. How far did they go? feel like I'm back hunting Sino again. Even further. Bird. Oh, there they are.
I'm sorry, everyone. I could have done better in the third round.
Oh, stop it. If you're going to beat yourself up after doing as well as you did, how bad does that make us look, huh? Heck, it's not like any of us had the guts to enter the championship.
I didn't see the whole thing, but you were the only contestant who scored points in both the first 2 rounds, right? And I heard that you actually found the diadem first in round 3. You came so close to winning the competition.
Aw, I just got lucky, I think.
That can't be true. You had some really stiff competition out there. The renowned Tainari from Amorta, even Sino the General Mahamatra was there. You're amazing, all of you. Getting points off them is a huge achievement. The way I see it, people aren't exaggerating one bit with the nicknames they give you. You are a genuine genius.
Aw, thanks a lot. But I really don't think I qualify as a genius. In the second round, for instance, I dozed off and somehow found myself beside the device when I came to.
Ah, come on, don't be so hard on yourself. We've decided we're taking you out to celebrate, and that's final. Let's go. Cheer up, Layla. The rest of today's all about you.
Looks like things are going well for Layla. This is great! We haven't seen Hat Guy since the end of the competition. Oh well, it's almost mealtime. We'd better go meet up with Kaveh and Sino now.
Even though I'm betting he is just a bit further up.
I can't believe it. But in the end, no one was disappointed in me. What a relief. Finally, I can get some good sleep.
Down we go again. Oh, I didn't change out your wings yet. Notice you still have the very old brown ones. Let's quickly see what fits you well. Green, I guess. Either green or that. Probably just green. The other is too similar to his clothes, I think. No snake wings. Not yet. ever been upstairs of this place? I feel like not for a good reason.
Are you sure you have enough to cover this? Don't blow it all at once.
Don't worry, I budgeted very carefully, and this is well within my means. Anyway, I've lost count of how many times you've treated me. It's high time I return the favor. Oh, Traveler, Paimon, over here!
Ooh, look at all this! Good food, here we come!
I heard that you went to see the other contestants. How's everyone doing?
Farazan found herself a student, and Layla's classmates are bowled over by how well she did. We couldn't find Hat Guy, though. Who knows where he's gone?
Alhaitham's gone missing in action, too. Huh. The one time I'm actually in a good enough mood to treat him to a nice meal, he disappears without a trace.
I'm pretty sure Head Guy is back with Nahida to report.
That guy. Where the heck could he have gone? I still have questions about that note he left. Well, whatever. He can do what he wants. Now, let's eat.
Ikadakimasu.
You shocked me a little when you hurled the diadem to the ground. On further reflection, of course, it made sense, but at the time I was expecting at least some amount of deliberation.
Sachin's voice started talking to me inside my head from the moment I picked it up. I could feel his emotions, too. It was a mix of despair and horror swirling around inside my mind. He bombarded me with his ideas relentlessly, like he was trying to brainwash me. It gave me a splitting headache that only got worse as he went on. Like I was saying at the time, his views are not necessarily completely without value. But if all his research does is lead to misfortune, then we're probably better off without it.
If his forbidden research were to spread in a harmful form and cause people to suffer, the Madra would step in and ban it.
I think you did the right thing. I suppose another way to approach it would have been to claim that you agreed to inherit his research, but give up the research as soon as you've inherited the wealth. But that wouldn't have been your style. I won't comment on his theories or experiments, but I don't believe that he was careless in his choice of candidate. He chose you. That means he knew what he was doing.
Perhaps. I just think that if you accept someone else's things, you should honor their wishes.
That's a good thing. It means that you have integrity.
Thank you, oh my god, thank you. See, you get me, Kale. It's a good thing Alhaitham isn't here right now. He'd be quick to explain why you're wrong.
Seems like you always include him in the conversation, even when he isn't here.
Yeah, very suspicious.
Yep, no dinner with Kaveh is complete without a few words about Alhaitham.
I sense that Alhaitham has in fact been here with us all along.
He's here? Where? Why didn't you tell me?
He lives rent-free in each of our hearts.
Hey, for once that was a good one.
Oh, that was horrifying. It literally sent chills down my spine.
Good thing you didn't say that before we started eating. That would have killed the mood in a heartbeat.
Alright, enough about Alhaitham. Tighnari, did you achieve what you wanted out of the championship?
I did, in the first round, in fact. Word of mouth proved very effective. I spoke to a handful of people, they told their friends, and so on. Now, a record number of people have signed up to attend the next lecture. Oh, are you free next month? You should come along, maybe even say a few words.
About what? I don't know the first thing about anything Amorta-related.
Just play to your strengths. For instance, you could talk about the distinguishing features of rainforest architecture, or ask everyone not to chop down too many trees the next time they're building a house.
Oh, well, that's no problem. Sure, I'll make time.
I can say 2 sentences.
Has everyone had enough to eat? I can order more if anyone's still hungry.
I'm full. Thanks. Paimon's super full, too. If only we could eat like this every day.
Yeah, we should do this more often. Work will always be there, but seeing friends is important too. This is a good restaurant. Let's definitely come here again.
Sounds good. We should pick a few other places as backup options, though.
There are other good places around here, too? Oh, don't forget to invite us if you go. There's nothing we love more than good food.
That's just you, Paimon.
Kaveh, do you have plans after this?
I was thinking of maybe going to the academia for some alone time. Nothing set in stone, though. Why do you ask?
Why do you ask indeed? Do you want to battle him at cards?
Since everyone is free, why don't we play a few matches of Genius Invocation TCG? This is my way of thanking you for your help. Only my best friend will have the honor of seeing this card's debut play.
Alright, sure. I didn't bring my deck with me though, so I'll need to borrow one.
Actually, Master, I made a new one a few days back.
Don't tell me you've been spending all your study hours playing cards.
Come on, no need to be so stern. They do say that your innate interests are your best teacher, don't they?
This card game is also living rent-free in all of your heads. I'm honestly surprised I wasn't forced to play around yet. Or politely asked.
Well, it looks like this Inter-Darshan Championship's a wrap.
I have a feeling not entirely.
All that stuff with Sachin and the diadem got sorted too. Have you still got anything else on your mind?
Sachin's research.
Oh, right. Yeah, Sachin said that he placed his research materials at somewhere beginning with but Kaveh smashed the diadem of knowledge before he could finish. It might be dangerous if someone finds his old research stash, right? Where do you think it could be?
Rubinage.
Holy smokes, you're right! He said he spent all that time researching in the desert, didn't he? So it's very possible that that's where he'd leave all his notes. Alright then, let's head off to Ara Village and try our luck!
I wonder if Head Guy is there. Or Alhaven. Either or both. Yeah, it's gonna be under the sand. Under a layer of loading screens lies a game called Genshin Impact.
Everyone must remember to add less salt the next time I cook.
I've been entrusted with an important mission. I must focus on the task at hand.
Everything is getting better, right? No, it's better not to be blindly optimistic.
So it is Alhaven.
I see everything.
Didn't expect to run into you here.
Mini games on the loading screens would be very much appreciated.
Oh, hey, Thumb. What are you doing here? And what are you reading? Are those?
Sachin's notes? Yes. I came across his profile while I was organizing some documents and became interested in his research. If it wasn't for that, I never would have agreed to being a commentator. I had a hunch after seeing the fragment of his mind, and sure enough, I came here and found his research.
Wait, so you've read it already? Are you alright? How do you feel?
I think you may have misunderstood something. The reason Sachin chose that architect to inherit his research was that only he could really empathize with both the calamity and the humanity that these notes seek to convey. Only one who resonates with these sentiments would suffer and begin to think of history as bleak, the present as perplexing, and the future as pessimistic. Empathy is a double-edged sword. Clearly, I am not the same sort of person as Sachin was. Empaths have many friends, and their wide social circle comes with certain societal advantages. But this also makes it hard for them to achieve their goals.
Why's that?
All important things in life involve other people. As such, it's extremely difficult to live a life that causes no harm whatsoever to others. If you really want to achieve your goals, you have to be prepared to make enemies along the way. Not everyone can deal with that reality. And that reality is like the material here. Objective, heavy, negative. But, at the end of the day, for all these experiment results and conclusions, it's just one person's perspective, Sachin's.
So, what are your thoughts now that you've read it?
As a scholar, Sachin was without a doubt a genius. He laid the blame for the darkness in the world squarely on humanity, experimented extensively with reliable results, and drew logical conclusions. In that sense, one might say his views were correct.
So, people are bad? And things can only ever get worse? All of that's true?
That is not a question for me to answer. Someone else will arrive shortly. You can ask them instead. All I will say is that the world is not built on correctness alone. Sometimes, being correct means nothing at all.
Those words you wrote among your notes. What did that line written in ancient script mean?
Lofty ideals may provide no defense at all against nihilism, but perhaps little decisions can. By their own choice, the idealist seeks to bring happiness to all while denying themselves the same. Thus, they shall never reach even the borders of truth until they wipe away the ignorance that blinds them. I've never been able to agree with certain philosophies. Even Sachin himself struggled to comprehend the notion of sacrificing oneself for the greater good. But sadly, all viewpoints will find their supporters, and the way we see the world largely decides our fates. All right then, I got what I came for. These research materials are yours to look after. I'll be off.
Wait, so you came here just to read this stuff? You missed out on a big get-together, you know.
There were card games and everything.
Get-together? Ah, yes, that makes sense. This is a good opportunity for that sort of thing.
Guess what? Kaveh treated everyone this time.
Then I'm sure he packed up the leftovers for me. See ya.
He probably did.
And there he goes. Well, it seems like he really wasn't affected by this research. He said that someone else would answer our questions. Who do you think that'll be?
Hello, you two.
Traveler, Paimon, you're already here.
I see you see everything.
Nahida! Oh, and that guy. Wait, so you asked him to take part in the championship?
You didn't figure that out yourself yet, Paimon.
Yes, it was me. Are you surprised?
Actually, not really.
Did you know that there was something wrong with the diadem from the start? And if so, why didn't you switch it out for another one?
Because Sachin's research is not mistaken. He spent his entire life researching this topic, and these materials are a result of that. These are the crystallization of his wisdom. Yes, I was worried that the material might cause some disruption, but I didn't want to wipe away all his hard work searching for the truth. So instead, I had Hat Guy here help me keep an eye on things.
Seriously? I think you can stop calling me that now.
Why? Don't you like it? Well, anyway, if Sachin's chosen successor hadn't been able to handle his research, or if it had brought pain to more people, he would have intervened at a suitable moment.
And after all that, the person Sachin chose turned his nose up at his life's work. Pretty hilarious.
I was also hoping that this could be an opportunity for you to learn how to interact with people normally. But it looks like that didn't work out.
He did offer his water once. That's what normal people would do.
That wasn't necessary. I'm still paying you back for your help. And the last thing I need is more reasons to be indebted to you.
Mr. Japanese Sombrero. Yes, much better name.
Maida, what did you mean by Sachin's research is not mistaken? Does that mean that you approve of his research?
Put it this way instead. Truth to me is like a shroom borer.
Okay.
Some people only see the mushroom on the shroom borer's back, and they conclude that the shroom borer is a mushroom. Others see only the shroom borer's body, and they declare that the shroom borer is a boar. Still others look deeper inside, and determine that the shroom borer is meat. These conclusions are all correct in their own way, but none of them objectively describe the shroom borer.
Paimon kinda gets it, but also not really.
The world is the same way. No one, not even I included, can understand it in its entirety. All of us are somewhere on the path toward truth. Within the confines of our limited knowledge, some may blindly believe in the beauty of this world, and others may focus only on its evils. In truth, the most important thing isn't what state the world is in now, but what people hope it will become. But of course, I don't mean that as a criticism or a call to action. Ultimately, my duty as the God of Wisdom is to guide every form of wisdom to a place where it can find its purpose.
That was a long speech. So what are you actually going to do with these research materials?
Burn them.
Because Kaveh, as the successor of this research, does not wish to see these ideas disseminated, I will seal it up. But even though Sachin's research could be considered negative wisdom, it is still a building block of the truth. If someone wishes to follow in his footsteps in the future, I will not stop them. I also look forward to the day that a member of the Vahumana Darshan can not only comprehend his theories, but also find a way out from the despair as well.
Vahumana doesn't have that kind of talent. Wait, you're not intending to keep me in Vahumana long term, are you? I don't remember signing up to become a scholar. Don't you think I'm useful enough to you as a prisoner?
Oh boy, here we go again.
You think so? Well, to that, I would say that in Sumeru, even prisoners have a right to an education. I hope that your studies in Vahumana will help you deal with your own fate, and learn how best to settle old debts from your past. I will review your final thesis myself. I'm expecting great things from you, Mr. Hat Guy.
We get it, and we part it. But the curtains still must close. Any last words from Dory, perhaps? You didn't give me... That's not the thing. And the curtain closes. Maybe we should do mini games first. I feel like that's a good idea. If you're gonna cut it off like that. One of the cats left. Oh no. It departed after gathering. Oh hey, Dory is still here. You decided to buy information from me. Paimon's a little curious about your exclusive information, but we need to hear the price first. If it's too expensive, then forget it. I'll sell it to you for the fixed price of 1 million mora. That's a lot. Never mind. 1 million mora can buy lots and lots of tasty food. Wait a sec. Let me see. Paimon customer number 1001 for today. The original cost of the information was 1 million mora, but for you the price is now free. Paimon didn't knew such luck exists. Wait, you're not baiting us into spending, are you? Maybe the first sentence is free, but not the next sentence. If you don't want it, fine. Next. Wait. Forget what Paimon said. We'll listen. Dory's exclusive scoop number 1. Do you remember the diadem of knowledge? Paimon remembers that only the champion was entitled to wear this diadem. It seems very valuable. Exactly. The diadem that Sachin gave the Academia was a rather expensive antique. Yet this very diadem, after it was donated to the Academia, was lost by them once before. Why didn't we hear about this? If everyone knew about this, wouldn't my information still be considered exclusive? Of course, this information doesn't come from nowhere. I've got witnesses too. There's a young fellow named Kashmir from the suburbs. If you're interested in delving further, you could ask him. The password is that incident from 20 years ago. More plot. Thanks, Dory. But first, pass. Hello there, traveler. It would seem that you are here to take part in the Wisdom Gala. With what interest you would you like to try out the game that we at Amurta have set up? Our Darshan has set up a little game called Mimetic Replication. In this game I will introduce you to the behavioral pattern of certain animals. Of course, these patterns have been simplified and generalized to make them easier to understand. What you need to do is use the models we have prepared to imitate the actions of the corresponding animals. That does sound pretty simple. Precisely, animals have regular behavior patterns. It's a statement that is both simple to understand and accept, but behind something so simple lie mysteries that are most deep indeed. However, let us put academic observation aside for the moment and simply enjoy the habitual behaviors of animals in a relaxed manner. Arf! Weasel! I think I should have clicked the other button. I did not read what the button said. I think this is the one where I actually do stuff. Use jump at the Use jump at the right moment and control the weasel model to obtain coins at the appropriate rhythm point. Use leap to reach coins at a higher location. Okay, it's just a rhythm game. Boy, do I love my rhythm games in Genshin Impact. Or other games with the word impact. I missed. Obviously, even in a 2-button rhythm game, I would mess up. But I'm already at 3 stars, so... Jump goes the weasel. Satiated gains. Very good picture. This weasel seems like a very experienced thief. 2 misses. 28 victories. Oh, rhythm calibration. Good. Don't... Seems like I do not need it. Shroom boar. Is it a shroom? Is it a boar? Is it a rhythm game? It has just space. Use forward charge at the right moment to cause the shroom boar model to break the obstacles at the appropriate rhythm point. Nope. I thought it would do it for longer. Oh. It's a very short action. So you really need to do it at the very last moment. Already doing worse than in the previous one. By 1. One worse than previous, but there also was a lot more. Very good picture. I'm almost certain there's also pictures for doing really badly. Maybe. I doubt anyone will be able to catch this shroom boar. Nobody will find out whether it is shroom, boar, or meat. The last one was fish, I think. I stand on your table. Use leap from water at the right moment and control the fish model so that the duration of its jump matches that of the other two fish models. Huh? Have I mastered anything? This is more difficult. Because I need to keep the rhythm. And if they're going fast. It seems I'm very bad at fast. Too late. This is a fish full of vitality. It would definitely give fishermen some trouble. That was not good. Let's try again. I want my free stats. Much better. Okay, there is pictures for everything. An angler who manages to catch this fish is sure to brag about it for a long time. At least the hardest one is also the shortest one. Good game design. Also, I'm disappointed there's a dog beside it and we didn't do anything with dog. But maybe that's for the other guy. Okay, it was just about getting all the ratings. Bahadur. Dog. Domain? How did this fall to me? Couldn't we have assigned this task to a more experienced senior student? Are you running some event here as well? Huh? Oh, Traveler. Yes, we are indeed running an event. Well, I say it's an event, but really it's a domain that awaits exploration. Does this domain have anything to do with the gala? Oh, let's not even get into that. I only came to be in charge of this affair because of the gala. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Bahadur from Spantamad, and our research lies in the field of alchemy, the elements, and topics like that. So I was assigned this task, but as much as I've thought about it, I couldn't think of a game that our Darshan could run. Putting up a crafting bench to do public chemical experiments would be too boring. There was no way we could run some demonstration of elemental reactions. If something went wrong, the whole site might go up in smoke, and what would we do then? In the end, I had to ask the Adventurers Guild for help, and it was with their aid that I found this domain. Several of my fellow students and I went inside to investigate, and to be honest, it is an utter mess in there. As such, we developed a few potions specialized for use in this domain, and well, that's our Darshan specialty demonstrated now, eh? So, if you're interested, Trevor, take these potions with you and go investigate the domain. I'll mark its location on your map. Has anyone come to play this game? Quite a few adventurers did come and give it a go. They were quite excited too. But I must say that very few of our fellow students did. Whatever the case may be, you can go as long as you're interested. The adventurers who tried this earlier rated it as being very challenging. Ah, yes. Well, when you do go, I'll have some potions here for you. Stay safe when exploring the domain, alright? Need to defeat opponents within a time limit during concocted reaction. Use resilience concoctions to resist a minimum of 2 negative effects. Use enhanced concoctions to obtain a maximum of 2 different buffs. Where? But where though? Is it this thing? It is. Could I have just gone here without talking to him? Because this thing was here earlier already. Well, let's concoct some reactions. Three times. This domain is hogged by hilichurls. According to other adventure reports, there are even huge automatons. The appropriate application of concoctions will be necessary to defeat them. Select Resilient Concoction. Linchpin the opponent HP will be increased. Oh, I need to do 2 negative things and 2 positive things. That's what he meant. I don't care about damage. I think. And sure, have some more HP, I guess. Can I use who I want to use? Yes, I can. Do I need to touch a key to start this fight? Because in that case, I think I'll go over Nahida's abilities once more. Not Nahida. Nilo. Because we haven't really used her yet, outside of small fights where I didn't explain anything, and that one time in her own quest. Nilo has 2 dances she can do with her E, with her elemental skill. She can either press E 4 times and create this whirlwind of water around her that stays active even when switched and always deals hydro damage to enemies that are inside it. Or she can press E once and then the attack button 3 times to instead gain a dance that turns her normal attacks into water. Both of her dances, when finished off with a third dance, enhance blooms. Blooms are the reaction that comes from Dendro and Hydro taking part. You've probably seen them before. They are small blossoms that appear on the ground. These green things. After a while they explode and deal damage. However, Nahida's dance is active. Bigger flowers appear and they explode instantly and deal lots more damage. They make Nilou one of the best damage dealers in the game. And this effect of the upgraded bloom stays active for 30 seconds after her dance. So her personal hydro output is not actually required for it. But as you can see, enemies are dying left and right. The only negative side effect of her blooms, which is also true for the regular ones, is that they also deal damage to the player character if they are staying too close.
Seems like an emergency.
And Nilou's flowers actually deal a ton of damage to your own characters. So they are a two-sided blade, one could say. But I have 2 healers on my team currently, so I don't especially care much about the self-damage. Mushrooms! I don't want to cryo slime. That's bad. Nope, I'm not dealing pyro damage. I will take damage myself though, so that's good. The only downside of Nahida's... what's it actually called? Bountiful Cause is that this only works if the team is made up of only Hydro and Dendro characters. So she is a bit limiting in who you can team her up with.
I see everything. The Temple of Wisdom.
Taking
But
a turn for the better.
It pays off if you do it right.
comes first. A bitter pill to swallow.
Allow me. Sharing my knowledge. Everyone hold hands. A brash maneuver. Covenants of the deep. Yeah.
I could definitely play on hard mode for these challenges. Because nothing is living a hit. And I'm almost certain I'm getting everything I want out of it, right? I do not. I actually want to do them on hard. Oops. Well, I don't. No, I should. Well, they're going fast enough as is. I should have checked on that first. Because normally you don't need to do hard, but...
I see everything. Make yourselves at home.
Taking a turn for the better.
Rest and rebuild. The Temple of Wisdom. This dance is for you. Positions. Hey, sharing my knowledge. Torrent, bring refuge. Dance with the waves. Everyone hold hands. Make yourselves at home. Allow me. Billowing surge.
Yeah, these go very fast. I was a little worried about the cryo slimes, but it seems all the explosions going on around them
Here. I see everything. Hold the line.
are a bit too much for them. Because the explosions of these cores are pretty big.
Sharing my knowledge. Hey. Covenants of the deep. I see everything. Make yourselves at home.
All eyes on me.
Everyone hold hands.
Seems like an emergency.
The Temple of
This dance was for them. Now for the last one. Then we're done with minigames. Eremites. Like termites. Bloom. I already feel bad for them. The enemies, that is.
New punching.
Come on! The Temple of Wisdom!
All eyes on me!
You are not welcome.
Time to go to work. Taking a turn for...
Billowing surge!
Let's end this now!
Uphill battle! Committed to memory! Position! Sharing my knowledge! Hey! Covenants of the deep!
Care for a dance?
Dance with everything. Me! Hold the line!
This dance is for you! That could be a good option. Not done yet!
That's close enough.
Remember, health comes first. A bitter pill to swallow.
Make yourselves at home!
Happy to oblige!
Billowing surge!
Care for a dance?
Everyone hold hands!
Not mind the side effects.
The show's only just
All my
begun.
strength! Not on the waves!
Hard, you say. Easy, I say. The show has just begun, guys. That's how shows usually go. That should be all of them. Yep, we have 1,800 points of Gala excitement, which means we get a free Faruzan. I already got her in a random gacha pull, but now she is at C1. And lots of furniture. So much stuff.
First, get into position like this. Then move like that. Yep, that's it.
How much stuff? Stop giving me stuff. Okay. The incident from 20 years ago. Hey, when I said furniture, I was also immediately thinking of Umineko. We are both infected, even if I'm not reading it. Do you need a doctor? Who are you guys? Is there something you need? That incident from 20 years ago. I guess I shouldn't have told anyone. Last time I had too much to drink and blabbered a little too much, and now people are seeking me out. Since you're curious, I guess I'll tell you. I was just 6 years old 20 years ago, so I can't remember clearly what happened at the time. But recently I read the diary I kept when I was a child and vaguely recalled the situation back then. The Interdarshan Championship was also held that year. There were 3 rounds, the last of which was outside the city. I begged my mom to take me out to town to see it, and when she refused, I snuck out. And then I ended up getting lost outside the city. In the middle of nowhere, there was no one around. I grew more and more frightened and began to cry. That's when I saw some strange creatures. I can't remember what they looked like. I only remember now. I remember how, as a child, I stopped crying at the sight of them. Strange creatures. They must be the Auranara. Or mushrooms. He took me to the competition. Unfortunately, by the time we got there, it was too late. It was already over. Just when I was disheartened, I suddenly saw one of the strange creatures slowly dragging a crown along. It was a beautiful crown, shining in the moonlight, and I could not help but follow it. I saw the little fellow hide the crown in a hollow tree before disappearing. I wanted to touch that crown, but at the moment I could hear the distant cries of my mother. It turns out she figured out I was lost and got her neighbors to go looking for me. I never got to touch it. It wasn't until I was older, when I saw the Diadem of Knowledge at the Interdarshan Championship, that I realized it was the same thing. Alright, do you remember where the diadem ended up? It's probably in the Avidya forest, but I've been back a few times and I haven't found anything. No one would believe me, even if I told them. Alas, even I can't remember it clearly. Perhaps it was a dream I had when I was a child. Well, should we go look for it, Lihuan? Oh, you mean there is an actual diadem still hidden, and the one Kaveh broke was... not the real one. Not the original. Somewhere here. There's a hole in the tree. It seems completely empty and there's nothing in it. Huh? Wait, there's a note here. The good Nara taught Arakasyapa how to read. Arakasyapa must protect the good Nara. What's this supposed to mean? Faint traces of writing can be seen on the weathered note. Well, back to Dory we go. Well, if it isn't the Juan and Paimon yet again. I have the latest update on the Academia Extravaganza. Would you like to hear it? How much is it? It's free! Isn't Lord Sangema Bay generous? Do you guys remember Sachin? The guy who sponsored the Academia Extravaganza. Paimon heard that the prize money and the Diadem of Knowledge came from him. Bingo! In fact, not long ago, when I was doing business in the desert, I met an old businessman. And guess what I got from him? A dealer's ledger. With it, I can avoid dangerous areas in the desert and go to more places. Of course, the most important thing is that the ledger mentions Sachin. Turns out that Sachin had been to the desert to investigate the people's local conditions and customs. He also had cardinal exchanges with the traveling merchants in the desert. Much of the text is lost, but this is the first-hand account of the big sponsor behind the Academia Extravaganza. Would you like a look? Okay, let's have a look then. The sandstorms are raging. The caravan has stalled. We ran into a scholar calling himself Sachin. He said he could sponsor the caravan, provided that we... This is a trial of human nature. Betrayal. Blunder. There was nothing we could do, no one could withstand. If I could do it all over again, I would never have taken that money. Then they wouldn't have had to die, and I wouldn't be living like this. A fate worse than death. People are the most terrifying animals in this world. Eh? This is all hard to understand. Dory, what does all this mean? What does this all mean? I'm afraid that if you need it analyzed, it will cost you an extra $1,000,000 more. Forget it then. Well, since you're not paying, that will be all for Dory's special news. Let me give you a hint. There should be someone here who's been to a lot of Academia Extravaganzas. Perhaps you could talk to them. I have a feeling these Dory quests probably also unlocked alongside each of the acts. Old man! Alas, seeing these young children, I can't help but reminisce about the past. The International Championship has always been a stage for young talent. Unfortunately, not every genius will be successful eventually. Why do you say that? Geniuses are mostly stubborn and cold, and find it hard to understand the pain of others. Empathetic people, on the other hand, often fall into self-doubt and depression. People who are not firm can only stand still, while people who are determined but walk down the wrong path refuse to look back. There's a lot to think about here.
Everyone hold hands!
You think nothing, old man. You stand dangerously close to the cliff, just one push away. Aren't you lonely?
I see everything.
I missed. That you also stand very close to the cliff. For this year's International Championship, my favorite has to be Sino. Aside from his skills as the General Mahamatra, looking back at the tournament's history, the Spantamat Darshan has the highest percentage of champions. Many people say that the Spantamat Darshan produces many talented people such as Cyrus, Rusisha, Lisa, and Sino. Brighter the talent, the sooner the game will lose its suspense. The most exciting competition was still 20 years ago. At that time, my friend also participated in the game, and I went there to cheer for him. The last round was played in Avidia Forest. In the end, no one dared to approach them, and no one knew what was going on in the depths of the forest. Then I heard the Academia shut down the competition. Later, the International Championship removed many of the events in which people fought to the death, discouraging people from being desperate enough to do so. What is your friend like? Let me think. He's honest and kind. He's also vulnerable and sensitive. Most of all, he cares about us. When we drink together, our time is filled with laughter and cheer. It's just too bad that it's all in the past now. Among the friends we drank with, some died, some disappeared, some now live in seclusion. They say fate is fickle. Perhaps it's true. Looks like something did happen 20 years ago. Right, didn't Wikwas tell us to seek him out if we had any questions? Now that we have time, why don't we ask him? Let's do that. Let's jump all over Sumeru over and over again. This event sure would be a pain if loading screens were any longer. That incident from 20 years ago, why the sudden question? Did you hear any particular information? We heard that the diadem seemed to have been lost 20 years ago. Some contestants personally has changed. You seem to know a lot about that. Because is there something you're not telling us? Not exactly. I was 5 years old when it happened. How could I know? But there are things I've never told anyone. I'm actually a part of the Academia Extravaganza's planning committee because of the influence of a senior colleague. That senior colleague and I met on a trip. He was a bit timid and would always flee and cower somewhere at the first sight of an emergency. One day, 4 years ago, I said to him, I want to go back to the Academia. The Academia Extravaganza is about to begin. And then, on mentioning the Academia Extravaganza, he got startled and said something about it has nothing to do with me. When I said goodbye to him, he insisted on getting a drink with me. After several drinks, he started talking all sorts of nonsense. I also had too many, and in my drunken stupor, I didn't really hear him that well. I only remember that he said that he lost the Diadem of Knowledge for a while. He was in charge of the distribution and recovery of the diadem, and that he nearly had a heart attack upon realizing that the diadem was missing. Fortunately, he finally found it in a tree hole, like the one we saw before. He said that the Diadem of Knowledge is a very valuable treasure, which is recorded in many ancient books. Legend has it that it was built by a famous craftsman in ancient times, and carries a secret that no one knows. And now it's broken! Sachin has entrusted the Academia to safeguard the diadem after all. Vasenia was responsible for this diadem's disappearance, could not afford to pay for it with his meager wealth. Even if the loss was temporary, no one should know of it, lest the Academia find him guilty of gross negligence. So he covered it up. Yes, it seems that he also said that many people came to inquire about it, including children. He said that the diadem was never been lost. It he was so scared that when things blew over, he quit his job and left the academia. I drank too much that night, and when I woke up the next day, he was gone. The more I thought about it, the more I had a bad feeling that the issue would crop up in the Academia Extravaganza if entrusted to someone like him. I didn't have a job at the time, so I joined the Academia Extravaganza planning committee. I tried to investigate things on the inside too, but I couldn't find anything. The diadem was found, and the man whose personality was said to have changed was dead, and there was nothing to be found. Still, 20 years is still a long time, long enough that the people involved from the beginning no longer remember nor care. That's all I know. If you're curious, keep investigating, maybe one day you'll discover the truth. That's easy for you to say. We don't have much to go on. You have any more information? Like where the senior colleague went? I haven't heard from him. Later, I also went to the desert to look for him. But in the vast desert, it was almost impossible to run into him. To make up for it, I do have some information on Sachin. Would you like to hear it? Sure, tell us. When I was traveling, I did so with an Eremite commander. While we were chatting, he said he came into possession of an article written by an academia researcher. He seemed to think it was something precious and refused to show it to anyone, only to let me peek at it at my request. I only caught a glimpse of it, but I saw that it was signed by Sachin. I didn't know who Sachin was, nor did I care. After joining the Academia Extravaganza Planning Committee, I found out that he was an important member of the Vahumana Darshan, who sponsored the event. If you're interested, you can find the Eremite commander in the desert. He's usually in the Valley of Dari. Yay, more jumping! Information related to Sachin. Alright, let's go take a look. I'm surprised you didn't force me to do all this before it was revealed what was going on in the main story. Oh, hi.
Hey!
Suhai. What do you want? Oh, this guy looks real fierce. Here to say your piece or leave. I have no time for you. Actually, we heard that you have Sachin's article on you, so we were wondering if we could have a look. Are you kidding me? No, why would you ask that? Seems like you guys really don't know. Some time ago I had the article appraised. Turns out it's nothing more than a personal travel journal and is of little value. He hired my father to keep him safe. That Sachin fellow would often walk, ask, write and mumble. There was one time his papers were blown away by the wind. He said it was no big deal. My father, however, thought that things written by intellectuals must be valuable, so he looked around for them at night with a torch. None among my family can read. My father cherished this article and passed it on to me. I had no idea it was completely worthless. Sounds unfortunate, but do you still have it? Yes, you want to have a look? You can look at it as much as you want. Since it's not worth anything, there's no need for me to be so stingy. Unclear notes. Once, the gods reigned supreme. All life flocked to them, like sheep seeking shepherds, and those who suffered did so in silence. Now, divine power has dwindled while human wisdom has blossomed. However, those who suffer face suffering still. There is a saying in Liyue that goes, life is like lodging at an inn, and in Inazuma all things are but void. It hurts every time I read these words. I tried to seek the reason for this. The wheel of time turns, and the only constant throughout Sumeru history is human nature. Since arriving in the desert, I have encountered a total of 64 experiments over the course of 7 years. Men are like prisoners or captured animals, feeding on each other's happiness until one is doomed to eternal torment. Therefore, where there is gain, there must be loss. Where there is happiness, there is agony. Everyone is a victim, but everyone is also a perpetrator. Greed and numbness reside in the heart of humanity. Driven by greed, humans choose to commit evil, and numbness is why they turn a blind eye to the evil of others. But if this is what the world is, what is then the meaning of the word the world. The future is to the present as the present is to the past. Peace was never an option. Conflict is the eternal truth. Everything, from my knowledge, my wisdom, to my life, is but nothingness. So this is the article that Sachin wrote. And to be honest, Paimon can't make sense of any of it. But judging from the crummy handwriting, Paimon can't say exactly why. But Paimon has the feeling he was going through a tough time. You don't say. Well, we're done reading it. Thank you very much. You're welcome. It's not worth any money, but I'm going to keep it anyway. After all, my father entrusted it to me. Come see me again if you want to look at it again. Dory! There's always more Dory.
The weather is lovely and warm. Everyone hold hands.
I'm yet again for an information sale from Lord Sangama Bay. Would you two like to purchase the latest reports? Let me see. This information isn't that important, so it will only go for 500,000 more. It's half the usual price. What a bargain! Mind giving it to me for free? Well, you want to bring it down to 0 more, just as I expected. But I am the great Lord Sangama Bay. Well, since you're so interested, I'll tell you for free, but you must keep it to yourself. I heard that 20 years ago there was a contestant whose personality suddenly changed after taking part in the competition. Well, it looks like someone saw him in our village. I wonder where he ended up. That's all the information you're getting for free. If you want to hear more, you gotta pay 2 million more. I appreciate your patronage. What a ripoff. We can't just go to our village ourselves and ask around. Our village! Imagine we needed to walk all this way every time.
Years ago, a young man did appear here. Back then, life was much harder than it is now. Poverty, disease, ignorance, they tormented us constantly. That young man, clearly from the academia with a bright future, was nevertheless willing to come here and help us. He taught us how to deal with Wenet and monsters. He brought us a lot of medicine with money from his own pocket and took care of the ill all by himself.
He sounds like a great guy.
Yeah, too bad the good die young. He was always frowning and no one knew what he was worried about. Everyone was wondering if he was going to leave us. This place did not have the means to properly host him. Still, many said he was a bit crazy to begin with. For example, he would sometimes tell children a story about how, as a child, he taught a strange creature to write.
It's all coming together. Later, he would often leave the village and explore the desert. Once I asked him what he was looking for. He said he wanted to talk to someone from the Nagaro something group. Later on, I heard that he died in the quicksand. It is said that he encountered a caravan trapped in the quicksand on his way to investigate something. He saved many people, but he himself was unable to get out in time. At that time, there was still a half-finished letter addressed to his child at home. After he died, my son took that letter with him, thinking about delivering it someday. Is that unfinished letter still here? No, it's not here. To live a better life, my son became a mercenary. He was killed in a scuffle a few years ago, and his belongings were taken. Many years have passed in the blink of an eye. I wonder how this child turned out, and if they hold a grudge against him. Not many people know these things anymore. I'm getting old. Perhaps I'll forget these things soon too. Or you will die, old lady. The end? No more quests from Dory. I guess we have come a full loop. Now, let's close this curtain. Back in Sumeru City. Almost missed you two.
Grow.
Where were you while the rest of us were eating together?
I don't recall being obligated to report my whereabouts to you.
Did you go find another hidey hole to read in? You need to change your ways, you know. You can't survive on books alone.
Surviving on meals paid for by you would be harder still.
You... Whatever. It doesn't take a genius to guess what you've been up to. You were investigating Sachin, weren't you? It was obvious from your notes. However, I don't believe his research alone would have been enough to pique your interest. His way of doing things is disturbing, while you... Well, to be fair, your philosophy disgusts me too, but you and Sachin are nothing alike. I don't imagine your views intersect at all. Egoism and nihilism are not the same thing.
My personal interests aside, Sachin's legacy is not entirely meaningless. He conducted experiments on a great scale and left his findings behind. Also, thanks for the compliment, but I'm actually just passing through. I didn't come here for the conversation. Well, not this one at least.
What do you mean? What topic of conversation could be more sacred among scholars than the exploration of differing philosophies?
Well, based on what I've learned, Sachin and his disturbing way of doing things, as you put it, is very likely to have met your father 20 years ago.
What did you say? Wait, so... No. Surely that doesn't mean... Huh. So that's why he thought I looked familiar. My father must have gone into the desert due to his influence.
I'm afraid so.
Good thing I shattered that diadem. From now on, nothing like that will ever have to happen again.
The boundaries of knowledge are ever expanding. Someone else will inevitably pick up the same line of research one day, and Vahumana regards it as a reasonable research direction.
Oh, not this again. Even if you're right and people are bound to fall into the same intellectual traps, things won't necessarily go the same way again next time. You have to admit that the actions of one individual don't always predict the behavior of the group, and vice versa. Take Sachin, for instance. He's quite an anomaly.
And so is the one who stopped him. You. Conflicts of this nature are indeed exceptional, but it will occur again in the future. You said it yourself. The actions of one individual cannot predict the behavior of a whole group. You know that not everyone would have chosen as you did.
Even so, I stand by my views. You can forget about trying to convince me.
That's fine. We've been arguing over this for years, and I don't hold any hope of you understanding. The issue we're debating has long since moved on from who's right and who's wrong.
Thanks for letting me know all this.
What?
I said, thanks for letting me know. Hey, stop acting like you didn't hear me. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
They say that earnest thanks should be given thrice, so one more time, please.
All's well that argues well. Nope, no academia for me. And with that, we finished everything for the Academia Extravaganza. Yeah, the next day Kaveh will surely regret not buying a house. He could have finally left behind Alhaven. Oh well. On the other hand, we are not quite done for the day. Last time on Genshin Impact, we did Nahida's second story quest, but a day after, another home there may yet be opened up. Explain the situation to the waiting fungi. The elemental life form's family linger around for a long time. In order for them to be reunited one day, you have to first properly deal with the parting in the present moment. Seems there is also a conclusion to be found for that story. I really want to do something for them, so they'll have a chance to meet again. Yeah, and apart from these two fungi, Paimon's also a little worried about the floating animal fungus camp. I feel the same. I have an idea. Why don't we bring them over to live with the other fungi? Both sides have previously lived in the presence of an elemental life form, so their habits should be similar. Yeah, so they can look out for each other. Would you like to come with us? Looks like it's been convinced. Okay, let's go. After arriving at the camp, the two fungi receive a warm welcome. Oh, seems like the fungi here recognize us. They're so friendly and gentle. That elemental life form must have been held in high regards by everyone living here. Huh, you're trying to play with Paimon. Well, okay then. If you want, Paimon will be over here playing with the fungi. If you go, have fun. I owe you an apology. When the fire seed shattered while we were inside Apep, I had planned to sacrifice my power. Did Paimon tell you that? Yeah, and I was a little angry. I wasn't calm enough. I should have given it some more thought and made a better judgment of the situation. When I realized that the Dendro dragon was in danger and that Sumeru's safety was being threatened, I couldn't help feeling anxious and scared. If I decided not to take action when things can still be done, or if time ran out before I've used up all my energy, using my powers may be the easiest way out, but it's also the most difficult. You still have room for growth, because you're tiny. Yes, and I think I learned a lot from them. I understand what it means to have their wishes come true, but I'm still unable to accept it. Why did it sound so peacefully content when it was doing something that just makes you want to cry? Looks like I still haven't fully grasped the concept of empathy yet. I feel the same. Thank you for comforting me. Feelings are really complex things, and there's still a lot for me to learn. Huh? They're even taking care of the crops. Are they simply mirroring the elemental life form's behaviors? But since that fungus even learned to speak, all of this might be due to the long-term effects of elemental power. Time is a powerful thing. That's right, and now we don't have to worry about the safety of these two fungi anymore. From now on, I'll be keeping an eye on this fungi camp and come check on them once in a while. I want to preserve the traces they left behind in order to create an opportunity for them to meet in the future. After all, that fungus remembered the name Nur. Its memories came back. I believe in their bonds as a family. Let's think of it as a beautiful wish then. Nahida, the fungi brought over some fruit. Come and have some. Okay, I'm coming. And I guess that's that. I don't know why you made me wait a day for that, and it couldn't have just happened immediately. But I guess it took Nahida some time to think about it. But with that, we are actually done. That cleaned up my quest list quite a bit. Next time on Genshin Impact. The splendorous sky that day, Arena of Good and Evil, will continue. With our friend Sarus, or whatever your name is. And I need to do that quite quickly because this little event is locked behind completing that quest. Why would you do that? Why would you do that indeed? Just to rush me along. But that quest seemed interesting anyways, and I do want to finally explore this part of the desert. I did off-screen go around this way and get those 2 teleport points so that I could fight this boss, which was necessary because his item drops were needed for Baiju to be upgraded. I guess I can show him off as the last thing for today. He's a interesting boss, although he's also very easy if you know how to deal with him. That thing, not yet resolved. Let's quickly visit that fiend. He has a nice arena down here. Interesting about this boss is that there's, I think, 3 different versions of it. Because this boss controls 3 elements. In this case, ice, water, and fire. But he can also have different combinations. And not just this one. And depending on his elements, you will need to have a team that can deal with them. Meet the Inquitius Baptist, the guide to the dark paradise.
Salvation belongs to the abyss.
The Inquitius Baptist, creature of the Abyss order that can manipulate multiple elements at once and use shields of the corresponding element to defend against damage. In battle, it will create elemental rings, throughout which it will channel a powerful attack. Use reactions to destroy all the rings to prevent the oncoming catastrophe. So, what he is doing right now is he's summoning in those 3 elements above him, and he will plant them on the ground. You need to immediately destroy these 3 things, or they will explode with an instant kill attack. Doing so will also stun him. And then the second phase of the battle can begin. Now he will put up elemental shields on himself, also corresponding to the elements that he has chosen for this fight. Breaking the shield will once again stun him for a bit. One of his biggest weaknesses is that most of his elements, if not all of them, are weak to Electro. So that's a bit of a bad choice of him.
I hear everything.
Yeah, he is not the hardest boss to deal with, if you're prepared. If you're somehow missing one of the elements that... Or if you're somehow missing an element to deal with him correctly, you can be stuck on his shields for a very long time. So it's potentially better to just run away at that point. But he's fun, and I'm glad he is relatively quick to beat, considering how often I had to beat him in the last week to level up Baiju completely. But that's all of that, and really all that I wanted to do today. I wonder if there's any voice lines by Changsheng.
enjoy sorting medicinal ingredients and using each ingredient's unique properties to produce pills or ointments. I know this process like the back of my hand. People think that the process of making medicine is difficult and complicated, but to me, it brings endless enjoyment. Amazing, isn't it? That we can condense the bounties of heaven and earth into a tiny, unremarkable pill and use it to bring people back from the verge of death. I tend to anyone who comes to Boo Boo Pharmacy seeking medical attention, regardless of their wealth or status. I treat everyone fairly, and I do my best to heal them. You are no exception either.
Well, maybe not.
Ah, you're still awake. Is that a yawn I see?
It is. Let's see you again. Next time on Genshin Impact. Good night. Bye bye.